What are the elements of a good policy? It's almost like baking a cake. You can't have too much flour or too many eggs. It's about making the right ingredients to make the product perfect.
What's up, everybody? Jay-Do and Jonah here of the Cash Compound. We are the Banking Bros, here to cook up something excellent for you guys when it comes to building your wealth and being all about financial freedom through cash flow.
Did you say banking bros or baking
That's a
bros?
good point. So actually, I did say baking bros.
Okay.
Because you said cake and elements and things like that, and it's part of the ingredients of a great banking policy.
Absolutely.
So we're going to cook it up for you. And of course, we are a little bit foreshadowing here because we got something special coming out for people soon.
We sure do. We got some brand new content coming out.
Yep.
There may be some aprons and chef hats and some ingredients involved.
Yes. So some folks out there on some of our social handles already caught us because we put it out there a little bit early.
We did.
And we had a logo that said baking on it. We actually put it out on accident early because we got a big video coming that does have to do with baking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But today we're actually going to talk about some of those ingredients.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about the elements, the ingredients into these policy contracts that we love so much.
So first off, let's go to our question of the week.
All right. Question of the week is, I think you're handling this one today.
I am. So a question of the week came to us through our Facebook. Okay. And I've got a friend who I sat down with to talk over policies, wealth, banking, and things like that a few months ago. And he asked a great question. So my buddy Haro out there asked this question, and it basically was formed like this. Jonah, what are the finer points of the contracts?
Okay. Sounds to me like he's asking about the ingredients.
The ingredients, yeah.
So I think about the ingredients. Cool. And we're going to talk about those. So I think we've highlighted kind of 4 things we're going to chat about today.
Yeah.
We're going to go through them one at a time. But for the overview here, we're going to talk about mutual companies. We're going to talk about participating policies. We're going to talk about paid up additions. That's real special. We'll spend some time on that. We're going to talk about non-direct recognition companies as well.
Yep.
Kind of highlighted those as our 4 main ingredients for, again, there's more specific things.
But these are
the main, you got to have these.
You have to have these.
It's not a cake unless you got these.
Right. So you can have a chocolate cake or vanilla cake, right? But you have to have these things.
Yeah, it can't be a pie. It's got to be a cake.
Correct.
You know what I mean? You got to have the right ingredients to make it a cake.
You can put frosting on it. You can do sprinkles, but you have to have these things.
Let's talk about number 1.
All right.
Mutual company. So I got a question for you.
Yep.
If the company's not, so we want mutual companies. That's what we're saying. That's our one ingredient, number 1. So if the company's not mutual, what is it?
It would be a stock company.
Okay. And explain to me mutual and stock and why we actually want mutual.
Yes. So stock companies are owned by the stockholders of the company. They have stake in there, and the company exists to give profits to stockholders. A mutual company exists at the benefit of the policy owners, people who have mutual benefit in the company. Basically, they have stake in the company, but they get it. And how you get stake in the company is by owning portions of their products.
Oh, okay. So actually, this is fun because I recently took a test, an insurance test. I had to go take one, and I was studying. I had a book to study,
right?
And then I went to take the test, and this is actually one of the questions on the test. The question was, if I remember it exactly worded, was who is in the ownership group of mutual companies? That was the question. Who is in the ownership group of mutual companies?
You remember the choices?
I don't remember the choices because I knew the right answer.
You just knew the right one.
Clicked it. But of course, the right answer was policyholders.
Yes.
But I believe they had, stockholders, and they had, I don't know.
Officers.
They had
owners,
other answers, right?
Just owners, founders.
Right. But that's important.
Yes.
We talk about mutual companies, and it kind of puts us into our next point, participating policies.
Yes.
Mutual companies are very specific. We want those because they offer participating policies. And what are we participating in?
We are participating in the growth of the company and the profits.
Absolutely. And when the company has growth or the company has profit, I'm assuming if you're part of the ownership group, you're a policyholder, they're going to give you something.
Yes, so it's the same thing as what the stockholders would get in a stock company. There's a portion allotted and how they all elect it and how they vote and the officers, and there's contingency pots of money that if we hit certain levels and growth and money, we're going to divvy up this stuff to the people who own the company.
Yeah. And I believe they call them dividends.
They call them dividends when it comes to, mutual companies. So you can participate in those if you have a point 2 participating policy.
There you go. So this happens a lot where people sometimes ask, oh man, I just found you guys on the internets, on the socials, on wherever they found us on our site. They read a few books, whatever it might be. And they say, I have a whole life policy that my mom bought me, that my grandma bought me, that I've had for years, that someone sold me 10 years ago. Does it work like you guys are talking about? And sometimes, even before looking at that policy,
we don't have to
notice.
We don't have to look even into the policy.
Yeah, that you're not with a mutual company and the policy's not participating. So even without looking at one document, I can see that type of policy and go, well, unfortunately, I know that it's not going to work the way that we're describing, because you're not with a participating. It's not a participating policy in a mutual company.
Yeah.
Right.
So most policies out there are coming from companies that are stock companies, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. That is something you can check out actually on your own. So let me give you a little tip there. Just go to the top of that policy, look at your paperwork, check in online, whatever, and just Google whether or not that is a stock company, held by stock, traded on the stock exchange. Easy. Okay, so if you are working with a policy like that, it is not going to perform in the ways we're talking about for banking or infinite banking. Yeah,
so sometimes that throws a lot of people off.
Yep.
Because they go, oh, I really want you to look at my old documents and see if I can use this old policy the way that, I'm ready now. I understand. I want to use it. And then without actually looking, it's like, uh-oh.
We probably disappoint a lot of people because it's like before they give us 30 pages of jargon, we look at the first page or they tell us over the phone, and I Google it within 5 seconds.
Now, this company mutual?
This ain't going. Hey man, this ain't gonna work.
And
he's like, what do you mean? It took you 5 seconds.
Stock, and you're like, sorry,
hey, no, it ain't.
Yeah, sorry,
it ain't it.
That ain't it. Cool. All right, that was 2. Let's get to the third one. This one's fun.
Okay.
The third one is paid up additions.
Now, before we get into paid up additions here, that is also going to help. Let me give you more context about what my buddy had said on Facebook.
Cool, sure.
He said, I was asking him first off, hey, did you watch some of our other videos? I sent you some videos. And he was basically like, no, I didn't get to them, or it'd been a while, or I don't remember. And I was trying to help him understand that these things are not common knowledge. I guess he thought that they were. And so that's why we're doing this for folks. Remember, our goal here, Crack the Code to Cashflow, is to help people who are regular people understand how they can utilize policies like this and grow their wealth. So paid up additions is the first of 3 things that we're going to hone in on, because this is not common knowledge. You may have run into lots of people who talk about insurance, whole life, even infinite banking. And if they don't understand this piece, that you ain't going to have the right policy.
So I've got a story for that.
Yeah.
So yesterday, literally yesterday, actually, while we're shooting this, we're shooting it in early February here, 2022. Literally yesterday, I'm on the phone with a gentleman. His name is Thomas. Last name, I'm just going to give you the initial. Thomas B.
I was about to say, you about to just rat this dude out?
No, I'm not going to rat him out. Anyway, I'm talking to him yesterday, and he says to me, so listen, I just got my policy started. I just took my first loan. Really excited about it. Going to pay off my debt. I've got it all mapped out. It's going to take me a few years to pay it off. It was like 3 or 4 for him. It was a pretty good size policy, pretty good chunk of debt as well he was going to pay off. But he says, listen, my wife did not watch the videos, did not read the books, so she doesn't really understand what's happening. She's actually a little skeptical. I read the books. Watched the videos. I'm loving it. I already know what's going to happen. I know it's possible. But he says, so here's the problem. Before I got started with my policy, I sat down with a life insurance salesman from a different company. Sat down at Starbucks, me and my wife, and he basically told me that it was impossible for a policy to work like this.
Right.
And of course, since we're sitting down at Starbucks, we've actually known this guy for a long time. They said he's doing real well in life. He's got more money than they had and driving nicer cars than they had. Of course, my wife immediately believes him. Yeah. Literally, he told me yesterday on the phone, he said, the guy told me it is literally impossible to take a loan out that early. It's going to take you 2 or 3 years to take it out. Started talking to him about the 4 pillars of investments and things like that. And he said, my wife is eating it all up.
Yeah.
And at the end of the conversation, he said, I basically had to tell my wife, listen, we're not going to use you. I thank you for your time, but I'm going to move forward. And I said to him, so you're telling me you sat down with this guy. He tells you it's not possible. You can't do it. Life insurance salesman. He said he was been practicing for 10 or 15 years or something like that with a different company. And I said, but one of the first things you said to me on the phone was, just got your policy, just got a loan. And the guy was like, I don't know how to describe his emotion coming over the phone, but it was honestly a little bit emotional, like getting a little like heated, like rising up, because he was like, exactly. Literally, I just got money. This guy's telling me I can't get money out. And I said, and how easy was it for you to get money? He's like, I logged in and clicked the button, man. And I was like, which is what we tell everybody, right? And it was so crazy to me. So when you brought up, it's just not well known.
Right.
We're serious. A lot of people don't, and you might be watching our podcast, and this might be your 10th episode, right? And you've read the things we've put out, and you've been on our site, and so now you're going, oh, I know a little bit about what's happening, but it's not well known. This is not something that the world knows, that your friends know, your colleagues know. So just keep that in mind. So when we're talking about number 3, the number 3 ingredient that we want to make sure is available for you in this policy, that you've got to have one of these policies as paid up additions. It's called a rider, an option. But when we talk about that, we want you to know where, like, without that in the policy, the policies don't work the way that we're saying they do. And that's a big, big deal if you have the old policy or whatever it might be. Like, this is a main ingredient here.
Yep, it is. So, Jonah, I love it. And you introduced our word of the week. So let's go to that now.
Absolutely. So our word of the week is rider.
Yes.
Okay. So as we like to do on our words of the week, definitions are pretty easy to look up on the internets.
Right.
So I've got Google pulled up in front of me here. I've got the definition. So you ready? An insurance rider, also referred to, as a floater or an endorsement, is an optional add-on to an insurance policy.
Optional
add-on.
I like it.
So here's the first thing that you've got to understand. There's more than one optional add-on.
There's 10.
Lots.
Yeah.
If you think about other types of insurance, some of the optional add-ons.
We talk about that when you're talking about car insurance.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Towing, rental car, personal injury protection, those are optional add-ons. You don't have to have them.
Right.
You can add them on, right? And so with a whole life insurance policy, there's a bunch of optional add-ons, but the one optional add-on that's really, really important is our number 3 main ingredient, paid up additions.
Yep, paid up additions. Very important. So as we said, Jonah, it's great for us to be actually working in the field from day to day and week to week, because I'm telling you, I got this one come through our Facebook, and here's some challenges and here's some things we want to clear up. You're saying, oh, I talked to a guy yesterday. We want to say, first off, we want to give some grace out there to you who are learning and people who have been your professional mentors out there in the insurance world who did not know this.
Sure.
Because I would and was for years in the seat where you were, on the receiving end of knowledge from a good friend, a trusted advisor at a Starbucks, trying to tell me what was and what wasn't. We've been there. What you've got to understand is what we're here to do is not actually argue. We know what they know. We figured it out. We've heard it. We've been in some of those sessions, seminars, and training. We're telling you what they don't know is there. One of my favorite lines out there is, you don't know what you don't know.
What you don't know.
Yeah, so it's not that we created this. It's not that we're trying to cause problems, but we are trying to interrupt the incomplete information that they've been taught. Same thing that we were taught. So riders, we're going to add on a paid up additions rider, which is going to allow us to get to cash right away. Now, Jonah, here's another thing I want to ask.
Okay.
If you call up insurance companies, because lots of people do that and they don't realize they need an advisor, an agent, a broker to help them.
Sure.
What will customer service tell you about getting cash value, taking loans right away?
Good question. It just depends on the type of policy that you own.
Sure, but if you say whole life, I'm calling out whole life policies. Can I take cash out of those right away?
Oh, I got you. So you don't have a policy. You're calling, attempting to get one.
People do that.
Yeah, they sure do. Okay, yeah. I was just confused by your question.
Yeah.
Don't have a policy. I'm calling, attempting to get one. They'll actually tell you that you need an agent. Some companies will refer you somebody.
Yeah.
They'll say, this person's in your town. Go work with them. right?
Yeah.
But they actually, you can't go get that policy by yourself, actually.
Now, I've had a lot of people, maybe you're not as familiar with me, who deals with folks on the front end of things. When they said they've called around and they're looking for these types of policies, maybe they are calling agents from time to time, people that they know. Those agents are telling them exactly what your friend, Thomas or whatever he said.
Doesn't work.
It does not work. You can't do that. There's no cash in there at the beginning because they don't know how to build those type.
Yeah.
Their cakes are angel food. We're over here doing the devil's work. No. What is it? Devil's food? Angel's food? Is that? Those are cakes,
Angel
right?
food cake. Yeah, I think so. I don't know the devil. There's a devil's one.
There's angel food and devil's food.
I don't know. I didn't get.
Okay, we're doing the angel. I said it backward.
Yeah.
Though. They're doing the devil's. No, they're not. So that's the thing. We're not. A lot of people
they're making pies and we're making cakes. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And so if they tell you, oh, you can't make cakes, you can. You don't know how to make cakes.
Yes. Well, all cakes are always chocolate, and we're
Yeah.
saying they're not always chocolate if you know how to make a strawberry one.
Yeah.
All we do is make strawberry. We know how to do it. So the paid up editions are. So Jonah, now that we've said all that, I kind of wanted to, clear the air a little bit on that, because a lot of people are going to get, like, this guy was in a positive state of emotion and lifted spirit.
Sure.
But he was adamant about, no, you can. It is possible. Tell us, we're trying to do the same thing, but trying to help people understand from an educational standpoint. So tell us what paid up editions do and how they help the policy.
Sure. Paid up editions are very, very important. Paid up editions produce cash value at a really, really high clip. And not only that, they produce cash value right away.
Yes.
So without paid up editions on the policy, you're just probably not going to get cash value. Cash value right away, I should say. Paid up editions will also give you some death benefit, so that's really helpful too, increase that number. Now, again, you can't use that money. It goes to your family, friends, church, or charity after you're gone, but it's helpful to have a little bit more to pass on. So paid up editions are very, very useful on the policy. You're going to want to have paid up editions as you build a banking policy.
And there are a lot of people out there who get on our threads in, like, TikTok especially, and they want to try to argue with something that we did not invent, and that is already standard. Think about paid up editions. The insurance, the death benefit, is paid up. And because it's paid for, already there is equity value, cash value, right away. It's paid up.
Yep.
We don't have to wait. There's no maturity timeline on that. So we're going to be able to access cash value. Cup 2, as we always say around here, green cup, we're going to be able to access the equity value before we die and immediately. Absolutely. And that's why we say, hey, within 30 days, you're going to be able to get to the money.
Absolutely. Let's move on to number 4.
All right.
Number 4 is non-direct recognition. And that also brings us to our comment of the week.
Okay, our comment of the week is coming to us from an Instagram message here. So not a message, but a comment underneath one of our videos. And it says this. Let me paraphrase, because obviously he is
watching a video
and responding to it. So he says this to you because it was your video.
Okay.
He needs to explain the concept of non-direct recognition of these policies.
Okay.
That's where the efficiency comes in.
Perfect.
I think our friend is a little bit off in how he's describing it, but we need to talk about
video comment.
Yeah.
But non-direct recognition is very important and made our list as number 4 thing that you've got to have to make the policy work, to make the cake appropriately. So number 4, non-direct recognition. Of course, the alternative to non-direct recognition would be direct recognition.
Okay.
And so what we are saying is the policy that you own, the banking policy, has to be with a mutual company, has to be a participating policy, has to include paid up editions, and has to be with a non-direct recognition company. The reason we want that last one, non-direct recognition, is because what non-direct I'm getting tied up. What non-direct recognition allows you to do is still receive your dividends after you've taken policy loans.
Yes, so non-direct recognition means that annually when the company pays out profits as dividends to policy owners, that they are not going to worry whether or not you've taken money, cash value, equity, or loans from your policy. They are still going to recognize you. See, it's non-direct. They're not going to recognize you based on whether or not you have money outstanding and being used in the world.
And so what that means, if you've got a company that's direct recognition and you take the loans out, which is what the policy's built for.
That's
take
why we're
the
doing
money
it.
out.
Yeah.
They actually can stifle or hold back some of the dividends, the bonuses that are supposed to be given to you, right?
And of course, the main reason we need money out there is for cash flow, to be able to use it. So we want you to be able to use the dollars. And lots of companies out there, when designed appropriately, will allow you to use all the money and they'll still pay you the dividends.
Absolutely.
So use those companies.
For that reason, non-direct recognition is very, very important. So I'd be remiss if I didn't say, obviously, like we've kind of taught you in this episode here, you can't go get one of these policies by yourself. You've got to use an agent or agency who, one, knows what they're doing, and two, can do it for you. And so if that's you, if you're out there and haven't gotten started yet, let us know. Call, email, click the links. We've got so many things where you can reach out to us and let us know that you are interested in getting started with one of these policies. We can help you. We can design it the way that we've described, which is really important. So it works just like all of the other folks we've already helped. Got lots of references for you if that's what you need. And we'd love to help you too. So let us know anytime. Click the links, emails, write comments, whatever. If you've got something to say about this episode, leave a comment as well. Maybe we'll read it and answer your question on the next episode. And thanks for tuning in. And that was our episode on the elements of a great policy contract.